All right, so I was born in Kansas City, Kansas, and I lived in a small rural town. In 5th grade, we headed out to Alabama, and my family, we professed the faith, but as far as talking about Jesus, walking with Jesus, that just really wasn't existent. We all believed, we all had this false security that we're all good, and it's not a good place to be in. I remember being very mad at my mom because it was her idea that we would move down south. High school is kind of just where life starts happening, where experiences are happening, and I was accepted in the Alabama School of Fine Arts, so I went there. And during that time, I remember feeling so alone. All my girlfriends at the time, they were getting in relationships, and I remember just thinking, like, no guy would ever find me attractive or find my personality fun or enjoy being around me, because literally I had had no attention from a guy ever, and I was watching all these girls get in relationships. And then one day we go on a trip to Kansas to go visit a childhood family, friends kind of thing. It was my mom's best friend, and she has 2 sons, and one of her sons was there, and he like acknowledged that I existed, and I kind of lost it. Like, I was just, it's crazy just what that meant to me. It was like my first hug, and oh my gosh, he had my email, and so we started talking, and we got into a relationship, and we were in a long distance relationship all through the latter years of my high school. That was about 1.5 years, and it was so broken in ways that I thought would feed my worthiness. It was like, oh, you're even unworthier. Like, every lie that could have been spoken over me about who I am was, and I was in such a dark place, and I was so depressed, and I did a lot of things with him that, again, I thought would make me feel worthy, and I thought would make me feel love and satisfaction, and I still was unsatisfied. I was still so depressed and in such a dark place. And he breaks up with me, and in the same month that he breaks up with me, my dog dies. My mom comes out that she's gay and that she's had an affair with my dad, and I'm really messed up. I'm in a really, really dark place, and I remember crying out to God and not really knowing his nature or even knowing him. I knew he was there. I had no problem affirming his existence. I didn't know where to start. I just knew there was a God, and I knew he's hearing me, but I still was not surrendering things to him. It was like I just didn't have all the pieces to figure it out. And my dad is crying every day. He's crying. I'm supposed to be the rock of the family because I'm the oldest, because my mom's gone. I've always kind of been there for my siblings. And we're all a mess. We're all just a big old mess. And so I get out of there. I'm like, I cannot deal with this. And so running and being indifferent to the whole situation was kind of my scapegoat. That's the only way that I really knew how to deal with it. And so I went back to Kansas, saw this guy that we had just previously broken up with, saw him only again to affirm that he was never gonna satisfy what I was looking for. And so senior year of high school starts. I'm making art. It's all about God, and I don't even know God. I'm not even walking with him, but I wanted him so bad, and I didn't have all the pieces. I didn't know how to get plugged in. I wasn't around believers at that school. And so it's kind of a lone wolf, and even pursuing those things and even articulating those things through my artwork. And so senior year of high school, I get another relationship. Again, not God glorifying because it's not surrendered to him. And it's still me seeking self. It's still me, how can I please myself? Then I go to college, and I go to the Kansas City Art Institute because I get a really hefty scholarship. And I remember even walking on that campus the first day and just feeling such oppression and not even really fully understanding what it was. It was just a very dark place. I'm still in this relationship with this guy, and I'm just living for myself. And it's really not all that bad. I'm having a good time. I'm doing what I want. I've made some really great friends. My roommates and I are really close. I had decided that I wasn't going to return to the school, and I was like, I'm going to transfer back to UAB. I miss my family a lot. I couldn't put my finger on what was going on at the school, but I just knew I didn't want to be there. It was just dark, and the students were dark, and it was just off. So I came back home, and I remember coming home and seeing my family, and it was like I got a first glimpse of what brokenness looked like from the divorce. It was like I could see the after effects of what a broken home looks like and what abandonment looks like, and so much anger in my heart towards my mom. A family friend that we had known for a long time, since I was 11, was just pursuing my heart, and I didn't really know why. And she's a very strong believer, and just seeing the light in her and just seeing her joy and contentment, it was like contagious, and I wanted to have it, and I didn't know how to get it. And she kind of led me through that process. So I'm going to church, I'm digging, I'm pressing in, and I'm saved that May. And it was like a new creation. It was literally like every part of me was handcrafted for a specific purpose and for His glory, and all this worthiness and all this love and the grace that was exemplified on the cross just hit me and brought me to my knees. I remember those first few weeks being saved and sobbing at God's love for me over and over and over again, because it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever tasted or heard or felt. That's happening, and I start up at UAB. I knew that God was paving the way for me to just run after Him. 2 weeks later, He provided a spiritual family. I remember going to Crew. I was like extremely early because I didn't know a soul on campus. I was kind of a loner. And I get there, and Caitlin Irby greets me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is possibly the nicest person I've ever met. She loves Jesus so much. And then I start meeting people. She's introducing me, and she's just loving me like Jesus. And I just saw the body of Christ working, and I saw what that looked like. And I fell in love with the ministry, and I loved what God was doing, and I wanted to be a part of it. And shortly thereafter, I was like, this is the calling that you have for me. This is the path that you've written for me. And so since, this has been about a year ago, I couldn't have fathomed the things that God has done in my life. I couldn't have fathomed the blessings. His love is exceedingly bigger and exceedingly greater than I could ever even begin to tap into. And it's so cool to know and to rest in that for the rest of my life, because every day I don't think that things could get much better. And God's like, you don't even know, Shelby. You don't even know the plans that I have written for you. As I look back on everything, I can just see God's hand and His mercy all throughout my life. Even from birth to now, He has always been there, and He always will be. And I don't have to do anything to earn it. I don't have to do anything to be with my Father. And I don't have to ever again be under the yoke of slavery that I had chosen for myself, because my God loved me so much that He came down for me, and He took those shackles off of me. And I'm alive.